Elvis Presley, the name itself sparks an image, a sound that shakes the very foundations of music history. Yet it's hard to fathom how it all began, in a place where hopes were as vast as the southern sky, yet as fragile as a summer breeze. It started in Memphis, a city where the Mississippi River whispers secrets to the sun-kissed streets, in a time when music was a blend of dreams and struggle. Here, in this melting pot of sounds, a voice emerged raw, unique, and unmistakably Elvis. It was a morning not too different from any other in the early days of the 1950s. In a small town, a Marine named Clement remembered the day he stumbled upon music history in the making. It happened at a DJ's radio booth, where the air crackled with excitement. The DJ played Blue Moon of Kentucky, a song that would soon become a phenomenon. The night before, another song had set the stage, Heartbreak Hotel, but it was Blue Moon that had everyone buzzing. People talked, they sang along, and soon, Elvis Presley was on everyone's lips. It wasn't just his voice, it was the style, the energy that radiated from him like sunlight breaking through the morning fog. Clement, like many others, was captivated but also wary. He knew the power of music, but not the mechanics behind making it a career. Back then, the concept of a record was as foreign as the stars themselves to him. It wasn't until Sam Phillips stepped into his life that Clement understood the magic that could happen with a simple recording. Phillips was a visionary, a man who saw beyond the ordinary, who believed that a voice like Elvis's could change the world. Elvis himself didn't grasp the full impact of records at first. To him, it was about making his mother proud. He wanted to cut a record just for her, something simple, something personal. Sam Phillips, however, saw something more. He recognized that this young man could bridge the gap between the black and white music worlds, a path that was fraught with challenges but also filled with unimaginable possibilities. The story of Elvis's rise is intertwined with the name Marion Kasker, a woman whose keen ear and unwavering support played a pivotal role. She worked alongside Sam Phillips at Sun Records, and it was her insight that helped identify Elvis's potential. She understood that Elvis wasn't just another voice, he was the answer to Phillips's quest for a sound that could appeal to both black and white audiences. Back in those days, the music scene was changing fast. Country music was being rocked by the new sound of rock and roll, and radio stations were the lifeblood of this revolution. Sam Phillips was brave, yes, but it was more than bravery, it was a calculated risk. The music industry was a different beast then, but he dived in headfirst, knowing the stakes were high. And then came the Ku Klux Klan, a reminder of the risks taken in breaking racial barriers in music. Elvis's first hit, That's All Right, was born from a simple request to make a record for his mom. But it was Sam Phillips who pushed him to record Blue Moon of Kentucky, a song that would launch him into stardom. This was not just music, it was a fusion of country, gospel, and pop, something entirely new. Elvis's voice, raw and powerful, combined with a style that was as much about attitude as it was about sound. As Elvis's fame grew, so did the circle around him. His friends, his family, and a growing group of admirers became known as the Memphis Mafia. It wasn't a name they chose lightly, it was a badge of honor, a symbol of loyalty and friendship. They were there for Elvis through the highs and lows, and in return, he made sure they felt like part of something bigger, something special. In those early days, Elvis wasn't just a singer, he was a force of nature. His music shook the very foundations of what was possible in the world of entertainment. He took a simple request to make a record for his mother and turned it into a revolution. As he drove his first shiny Cadillac, a gift to himself and a symbol of his rising star, he knew he was not just changing his own life but the lives of everyone around him. Elvis's story is one of courage, creativity, and an unyielding passion for music. It started in a small town with a simple desire to make his mother happy, and it ended up reshaping the landscape of music forever. As the echoes of Blue Moon of Kentucky faded into the night, a new era of music had begun, and Elvis Presley was at the heart of it all. George Klein and Elvis Presley's friendship began in the halls of Hum's High School, where they first crossed paths in a music class. George, the class president, and Elvis, just another student, bonded over their shared love for music. George worked at a local radio station, a world away from Elvis's job driving a truck for Crown Electric. Yet, it was through George's connections that Elvis's musical journey took a significant turn. As Elvis's career began to soar, George was right there with him. He was one of the first people outside the Presley family to hear Elvis's groundbreaking song, That's All Right. This moment was crucial not just for Elvis's career, but for George's too. George had dreams of working in radio, but didn't have the money for college. His chance came when he started working as a gopher for Dewey Phillips, a well-known radio host in Memphis. It was a humble beginning, but it opened doors for George. Dewey Phillips was like a mentor to George. Through Dewey, George got his first taste of the radio world. One day, while working for Dewey, George heard Elvis's voice on the radio for the first time. He was amazed. Dewey, recognizing George's excitement, told him, "You went to school with him. Your man Elvis has a record out." This moment connected George to Elvis in a way he never imagined. As George's career progressed, so did Elvis's. George landed a job at KWEM, a popular radio station. He became the morning DJ, a role that brought him fame and a flood of fan letters. His success caught the attention of Dewey, who offered him an even bigger role. This is when Elvis stepped in again, offering George a place as his traveling companion. It was an unusual job, more like having a personal assistant, but it came with a unique perk, meeting Elvis. George's role was to invite girls to meet Elvis, essentially acting as a matchmaker. It wasn't just about finding dates, it was about creating moments. Elvis was charismatic, and George witnessed firsthand how he connected with people. There were times when Elvis would spot someone he liked and make it clear he wanted to spend time with her. George would introduce them, and sometimes these encounters led to lasting connections. One memorable story involved an actress named Shelley Fabares. Elvis flirted with her in the first movie they made together, but she had a boyfriend. A few years later, when they worked together again, Elvis asked if she was still with him. She replied that she was now married. Elvis's response was gentle but clear, "You were weakening, weren't you?" This story shows Elvis's respect for people's choices, even when it came to his own feelings. Elvis's relationship with George deepened over time. When Elvis got married, George was invited to be the best man. Elvis even offered to pay for the entire wedding in Las Vegas. It was a gesture that spoke volumes about their bond. Later, when Elvis and Priscilla Presley decided to divorce, George knew about it before many others. He described it as a beautiful divorce, with Elvis treating Priscilla with immense respect, giving her $1 million and promising child support. Throughout it all, George Klein remained a constant in Elvis's life. From being a classmate at Hums High to becoming a trusted friend and confidant, George saw Elvis's rise to fame and celebrated his successes. His journey from a radio gopher to a key figure in Elvis's inner circle is a testament to their strong friendship and the impact one person can have on another's life. Let's talk about Elvis Presley and his special group of friends, often called the Memphis Mafia. These friends were not like the tough, crime-focused group people sometimes imagine. They were just regular guys who looked out for each other. Elvis was unique because he didn't want to be in the spotlight all the time like other stars. Instead, he treated his friends like a family. George Klein, one of Elvis's close friends, shared how Elvis would always help his friends, whether it was with personal problems or paying for medical bills. Elvis was like a father figure to them. Klein worked with Elvis in the music industry and saw firsthand how Elvis took care of his friends. Elvis would listen and solve their problems, even if it meant helping with health issues. As Elvis became more famous, he still kept coming back to Memphis, his home, often taking breaks from Hollywood to be with his friends. Despite the perks of being close to Elvis, like having access to a famous star, Klein and others were happy just being part of that special group. They enjoyed watching Elvis handle his own challenges, especially his health as he grew older. Elvis wasn't always careful about what he ate, preferring Southern comfort food like meatloaf and fried chicken. His friends tried to gently suggest he eat healthier but respected his privacy when he didn't want to listen. Elvis sometimes got upset but wasn't mean. He'd just retreat to his room if really angry. Klein wrote a book about his time with Elvis, calling it "Elvis Was My Best Man." In it, he talked about the good times and how Elvis gave him not just material things but true friendship. Klein admired Elvis's versatility, charm, and talent. Some people worried about Elvis's Jewish friends, like Klein, given some past accusations against Elvis of being anti-Semitic. But Klein and others like Sonny West, his fellow friend, denied these claims. Elvis even wore a Hebrew charm as a lucky talisman, alongside a cross, showing his open-mindedness. Elvis was seen as an international star who touched many lives, performing in diverse places from Japan to Jerusalem. Elvis's success brought in huge amounts of money. His music and performances made him incredibly popular, something unheard of before in the southern United States. While Frank Sinatra was another big star of his time, both had unique styles that made them stand out. However, Elvis's breakthrough moment came when he appeared on Ed Sullivan's TV show, watched by a record-breaking 55 million people. This was a huge deal because it showed how widely Elvis's appeal had spread beyond just the South. Phillips Records, Elvis's label, and his manager, Colonel Parker, benefited greatly from Elvis's success. They worked well together, helping Elvis's career soar. Elvis's ability to cross over from country music to appeal to a broader audience was revolutionary. His music touched people everywhere from Memphis to New York and even across the oceans. This success changed everything for the music industry, showing that stars could reach far beyond their roots. In the end, Elvis Presley was more than just a singer. He was a bridge between different worlds, a friend who cared deeply, and a legend whose impact on music and culture continues to this day. His story is one of kindness, generosity, and an unbreakable bond with his friends, making him not just a great entertainer but a truly special person.